And by 2003, when the world was allegedly going to fall into the throes of all the pharmaceutical companies that were going to come up with vaccines, which, by the way, 2003, this is important. And every fact checker has tried to disprove this. And unfortunately, the facts are as they have been stated. In April of 2003, the CDC filed a patent on what they called SARS coronavirus isolated from humans. It took them 4 years to get that patent issued. It took them bribing the patent office to get it issued after the patent examiners twice rejected it as an illegal patent. All of the things I said in Plandemic 2, all of the things that are absolutely documented, and all of the things that fact checkers, which, by the way, is the only fact they checked out of Plandemic 2, got wrong. Because the facts are, if you go to the United States Patent Office record right now, you can see that everything I said is absolutely true, and the original documents are absolutely there, as we put in the movie. But here's the point. 2 days after the CDC filed their patent, not got it, filed it. 2 days later, a company called Sequoia Pharmaceuticals, company that none of us have ever heard of, nobody saw the funding for it, nobody's seen anything about it. 2 days after the CDC filed a patent on allegedly discovering the gene for SARS and the entire DNA sequence that actually was the underlying alleged coronavirus isolated from humans, 2 days later, the vaccine patent was filed on SARS. Now, in what world could you, in the space of 2 days, go from allegedly identifying the existence of a thing to not only filing a patent on the vaccine for it, but having data on the research of the vaccine for the thing that was patented 2 days earlier? Now, people say, Dave, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. I'd like you to drop the word theory, because it's not a conspiracy theory when it is, in fact, a criminal conspiracy. It was a criminal conspiracy. There is no question that Sequoia Pharmaceuticals could not have invented a vaccine for a thing for which a patent had only been filed 2 days prior. That's a conspiracy, which is a criminal conspiracy. And that involves the CDC participating in a racketeering and domestic terrorism and global terrorism exercise to release a known toxin into a population to justify the acceptance of a vaccine. Tiny problem. By 2007, it turns out Sequoia's vaccine didn't work. Because you know what happened when it got injected into living things? They died. Didn't work. But what's fascinating about this whole story is then you actually recognize that in 2005, and this is probably the crowning achievement of the EU speech, which also fact checkers on YouTube have decided to tell me and tell everybody in the world can't be true. But it is on Ralph Barrick's downloadable CV at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill right now. You can go online, pause the video, confirm what I'm saying. In 2005, Ralph Barrick made a presentation sponsored by DARPA and the MITRE Corporation, M-I-T-R-E, the MITRE Corporation. And in that presentation, his title of his presentation was Biohacking a Coronavirus as an Enabling Technology for Biowarfare. Now, I've been told that I'm misunderstanding, that he was really talking about coming up with treatments for a thing. Brian, I don't know for you, I don't know if the average UK listener or viewer has a hard time understanding the English language, but let me unpack something. If it was treatments for coronavirus, I wouldn't have an argument. But if you say that your speech is coronavirus, biowarfare enabling technology, I don't know which part of that phrase is creating the problem for fact checkers. Biowarfare enabling feels to me like you might be enabling biowarfare. But apparently I've got it wrong. I'm misunderstanding the innocent Ralph Barrick, who happened to not only make that presentation, but then receive a black contract at the UNC Chapel Hill lab, which stood side by side with the NIAID to allegedly then come up with research that, subject to the gain of function moratorium in 2014, was given a waiver because he was funded. So funded research got a waiver mysteriously, even though the public was told that we actually put a moratorium on gain of function research. But since he was already funded, he was getting funding. Therefore, he was allowed to keep doing it so that by 2016, he could write the following sentence. The Wuhan Institute of Virology virus 1 spike protein is poised for human emergence. Let's just dial back to, I don't know, December of 2019, when allegedly we were supposed to believe that some poor schlep in a wet market in Wuhan bought a dog or a civet or a pangolin or a bat or whatever the heck they bought. And they took it home and they cooked it up and became patient number one. Well, isn't it fascinating that in 2016, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill was so prescient, so unbelievably prescient, that they must have had a crystal ball to guess of all the places on earth where you might have an outbreak of this dangerous thing. Isn't it fascinating that they published and then went on, several of the colleagues patented the spike protein poised for human emergence in 2016? And is there any chance that when Anthony Fauci in 2017 said to President Trump, you will have a pandemic on your watch, is there any chance that he might have known you were going to have a pandemic on your watch? Right? People sit there, and this is the part where I know it's a big word, but parsimonious is a good word to look at right now. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the explanation. You know, we've spent the last 3 years going, no, seriously, that couldn't have, they couldn't have really planned this, right? We wouldn't have governments in collusion with this. We wouldn't have the UK and Canada and Saudi Arabia and you know, Austria and the US. We wouldn't have them all working together on this, would we? And we wouldn't have like China in on it too, would we? Well, the answer is yeah. All of them were in on it. And every single document proves that this is not an oops, something escaped a lab. Never was and never will be. This was the United States government funding in the United States and in China the weaponization of the spike protein associated with coronavirus for the desecration of humanity and for the disruption and ultimately the desecration of our liberties. That's what it was, period.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy.
The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, They demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.